Hey, what is up, everyone? Southside Braves here, and today for you, I got week 2 of Gridiron Updates, a show name that we're going to take from a fan suggestion from the week 1 show. If you don't know what this is, it's just me talking football, and we're going to talk week 2 of the NFL. Sorry, this one's a couple days later than the week 1. I was doing a little bit of traveling the past weekend, getting back from Pittsburgh, and so yeah, this one's going to be a couple days later. The rest of them should be out on time. So yeah, I'm a big Steeler fan. I got the new hat. I got the Minkah Fitzpatrick Color Rush jersey. I was in Pittsburgh for their game. And yeah, we'll talk more about that here in just a minute. So yeah, first off, let's start with how I did on my picks last week. I went 10-6, picked all 16 games, got 10 of them right. So not too bad. I'll take that number. Hopefully we can improve on it this week. So let me know how you did with your picks. Feel free to leave your picks for this upcoming week in the comments. That's how we did week 1. Let's start off by talking about a couple of the games. I'm not going to break down all the games. I'm going to talk about the few that I actually got to watch. So with that being said, the first game that I got to watch was the one I drove 9 hours to be at. And that was Niners-Steelers. Big time Steeler fan, and this was a big time disappointment. I've been watching the Steelers since 2004, so that's 19 years of watching the Steelers play, and this is probably top 3 worst performances I've seen. Definitely top 5. We were pathetic in every aspect of the game. TJ Watt's pretty good. I can say that. That's about all I can say positive about the Steelers. He got 3 sacks. Kenny Pickett and the offense looked absolutely anemic. They couldn't do anything at all. The 7 points was a 2-minute drive at the end of the first half. So, I mean, yeah, Niners looked really good. Niners are a big threat this year in the NFL, but I don't want to dwell too much more on this. It's hard to talk about after what I saw. So we're going to get this one out of here. I was doing a lot of traveling on Sunday after the Steeler game, getting back home, so I didn't get to watch much other football on Sunday after that. But the other game I did get to see in detail was the Monday night game between the Bills and the Jets. And somehow this game felt like a loss for both teams. Josh Allen played about as bad as Kenny Pickett did. He was terrible. Threw 3 interceptions to one guy. And people are starting to question how good Josh Allen really is. I've always, when I talk football with my mom, I always talk about the story when I first saw Josh Allen in his first playoff game. I swear he had deer in the headlights looks during that game. And I thought he had gotten over it. And he's had great playoff performances at other times that have come up just short in overtime. But something's off. Something is not right in Bill land. I know it's only been 1 week and they can easily bounce back from it and fix it. But I felt going into this year that the window had kind of closed, and this performance did nothing to make me feel better about that. On the Jets side of the ball, defense looked phenomenal. The team has a lot of talent. I picked them to go to the AFC or represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. All of that looked right. Except Aaron Rodgers got hurt 4 plays into the game. There's rumors now that he might be able to make it back this season before the end of the year. With a torn Achilles, I find that very unlikely. But I'm not going to back off from my pick. I'll double down on it. Zach Wilson is going to carry this Jets team to the Super Bowl. I'm going to say that because I picked them before week 1. And I'll be honest, I don't believe it anymore. But I'm going to stick with it. That was my pick. So the Jets won the football game, and they looked really good. Defensively, especially, they didn't ask Zach Wilson to do a lot. It didn't look like they didn't have a ton of faith in him. Garrett Wilson's real good. That touchdown catch he made was phenomenal. That was a pretty bad fade route throw by Zach Wilson. But Garrett Wilson absolutely made it phenomenal. One-handed, tip-to-yourself catch. And then immediately after that, Josh Allen can't catch a snap. So that's kind of how this game went. You'll see in the power rankings what I do with these teams, because the Jets are a very weird one. They won, they beat a good team, but they lost their quarterback. So, yeah, that's how those games went. So, all that being said, I just mentioned the power rankings. Let's jump to those now. Here we have the new bottom 8. Again, I'm going to do these in four quadrants, basically. This is your bottom quadrant of NFL teams. Your bottom 3 all lost, so I just left them the way they were. Honestly, all 3 of them looked slightly better than I expected them to do. Slightly better than I expected them to. Arizona made it a game with Washington for a lot of it. Indy was around with Jacksonville for some of that game. And Houston got beat by, 16 to the Ravens, I think. But all 3 of them either performed as well as I expected or slightly better. So, moving down 3 spots, 29 was the Panthers. That division's up for grabs, and I think that week 1 against Atlanta, that was a very winnable game for Carolina, and they didn't get it done. So they fall 3 spots. These next 2 are 2 big losers of the week. The top 2 drops of the week. Number 28, the Chicago Bears. I talked about them last week, that this was your time to beat the Packers. If you couldn't beat them now, you never will. And not only did they not beat the Packers, they got blown out by Jordan Love and company. So they fall 9 spots down to 28 here. But somehow, I've talked about the Steelers' performance, talked about the Bills' performance, just talked about the Bears. None of those were their worst performance of the week. That honor gets to go to the New York Giants, who got blown out by 40 at home to a division rival in the Cowboys. They're lucky I only dropped them 10 spots down to 27. There's not much further they could have dropped, but that was by far the worst performance of the week. The Cowboys defense and special teams did whatever the heck they wanted to the Giants. The Cowboys offense probably didn't even have to play, and they would have won that game. So the Giants fall 10 spots to number 27. Rams and Raiders here both climbed 3. They both beat teams that I'm iffy on. The Rams beat the Seahawks team, which a lot of other people are much higher on than I was. I thought they would be all right. I expected the Seahawks to win that game, and they didn't. And the Rams won fairly handily, so they get to climb 3 spots, 26. And the Raiders beat a Broncos team that I have hopes in every single year it starts, and every year they prove me wrong. So, of course, the Raiders won that game. They climb up to 25. So, these are your bottom 8. Let's take a look next at 17 through 24. These are your upper half of the bottom half of the league. Probably the team I'm most unfair to this week in the or one of the teams I'm most unfair to in the rankings this week is the Patriots at 24. They lost to a good Eagles team, but they made it very, very close. They were right there at the end. They could have won that football game. They probably deserve to be a couple spots higher than where I have them. But they did lose, so I did move them up, but they definitely did not move down after that performance. So they just stay put at 24. Seahawks, I mentioned, they got blown out by a division rival in the Rams. That they're the better team then. And so they fall 7 spots to 23 because of it. Titans, a team, again, that lost, will just stay put. Again, they're already 22. They're already kind of down here at the bottom half. And they lost to a team that I predict to win the Super Bowl. So I don't think they're going to look like a Super Bowl contender yet, the Saints. But I think they're going to be a good football team. And the Titans lost a close one to them, so they stay put at 22. My Steelers fall 8 spots down to 21. I still believe the team can fix it, but I don't think I've ever been more disheartened after week 1 than I am right now. So I'm not going to talk too much more about them, but they fall down here to 21. I mentioned the Broncos a little bit. They're here at 20. I still don't know what we have from the Broncos. It was a close game. They could have won it, but the Broncos every year now are one of the biggest question marks to me. They have talent. They should be good. Why are they not? So they will stay put at 20. Next 3 are 3 teams I was impressed with week 1 that I didn't really believe in any of them, and all 3 of them picked up wins. First off, Falcons raised 8 spots up to 19. I liked Desmond Ridder in college. I don't think he's going to be a great pro. I don't believe it. I hope he proves me wrong, because like I said, I was a fan of him in college. The Falcons do have some weapons. If they can utilize them. I do have Kyle Pitts in fantasy, so I hope they can start utilizing him. But Kyle Pitts has been one of the larger fantasy disappointments for a couple years. So hopefully that Falcons offense can get going. But they did pick up a win. I did raise them up here above some of the teams that had week 1 losses. So that's why they jumped teams like the Broncos, Steelers, Titans, Seahawks, Patriots. They're going to jump them. They did win. I move them up to 19. The Commanders, again, I like their defense. I do. It's a little banged up at the moment. And they didn't look particularly sharp against Arizona. But coming around that, I actually think they're talent-wise. Again, a lot of these teams that have talent don't have the quarterback, and I think Washington fits that mold as well. But I did raise them up to 18. Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers picked up a big win against a Minnesota team that's is a lot of the same team as last year that was very successful. So that was, of these three, the best opponent that any of these three beat. So they move up 6. They get the 17 spot. The best of the worst, basically, or the best of the bottom half here, goes to the Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield. So let's take a look at some of the good teams. 9 through 16. You will see most of these teams won week 1. Packers go up 5 spots to number 16. Like I said, they trounced their biggest rival in a game where we were no longer sure if they were the better team in this. So they move up to 16. I'm going to continue to say it because it's so out of left field. My Super Bowl pick, the Saints. They get the win. They move up 3 spots to 15. The Vikings fall 3 spots to 14 after losing to the Buccaneers. And let me just say this, I know it's coming out after Thursday because I'm a little bit late. I did not account for the week 2 Thursday game between the Eagles and the Vikings. So all of this is before that game took place. So I know at this point the Vikings lost to the Eagles on Thursday and they're 0-2. These rankings were before they were 0-2. This is 0-1 Vikings. So next we have the Bengals falling 8 spots to 13. This is probably too harsh, but I hate the Bengals, and they look terrible. Joe Burrow, the richest man in the NFL, looked terrible. So they'll rise back up from 13, but I wanted to move them down to 13. They got trounced by the Browns, so that's where they sit for now. America's darling of a team, the Lions, move up 3 spots to number 12 after beating the Chiefs on Thursday night. So really that says +3 there, and it should say plus an assist from Kadarius Toney. We've all seen how that game went for him. So Lions are up at 12. Browns, who I just mentioned, whooping up on the Bengals, they move up 3 to 11. And that's who the Steelers have this week, so we'll break that game down a little bit here later. Your top 10. Jaguars move up 2 spots to claim the number 10 spot, so they're the newest inside the top 10. And the Ravens beating the Texans. I don't think they looked particularly sharp either. I know they won by double digits, but the Texans aren't very good. So the Ravens do climb 1 to number 9. So this is your 9 through 16. Let's take a look at your elite teams 1 through 8. Coming in number 8 is the Chargers. They fall 1 spot. They lost a shootout with the Dolphins. That was your game of the week for sure. That was the most exciting game. Dolphins came out on top. Chargers fall 1 because of it. But again, it was a very close game between 2 pretty great teams. So they don't get penalized too harsh for it. Bills fall 3 spots to 7. Because they did lose to what I still consider a good team even without Rodgers. But they have problems. This could have been a harsher fall for them if I wanted it to be. Josh Allen, like I said, looks awful. So we'll see if they can turn it around. But they do fall 3 spots to number 7. Right behind the team they lost to, the Jets at number 6. I didn't know what to do with the Jets. Because they beat a good team. They beat a team here in the top 8. They should climb from that. But they lost Aaron Rodgers. So I thought the fair play was just leave them, stay put at number 6. We'll see how things go from here. But yeah, that is the Jets coming in at number 6. Number 5, falling 4 spots. Your former number 1 is the Kansas City Chiefs after losing to the Lions. They'll be fine. They'll get guys that can learn how to catch. Their guys will remember how to catch. They'll be fine. But for the time being, they do fall 4 spots to number 5. The Dolphins, these next 2 teams, 4 and 3, are the 2 teams I was most, or really 2 through 4 to be honest, are the 3 teams I was the most impressed from week 1. The Dolphins and Cowboys both climb 5 spots to get to 3 and 4 respectively. Cowboys winning 40-0 over the Giants, and the Dolphins winning that shootout with the Chargers. That Dolphins offense looks very, very scary, and that Cowboys defense looked very scary in that game. So those are your 3 and 4. Number 2 are the Niners that whooped up on the Steelers. And I went back and forth on this a lot. Number 1 could have been the Eagles or the Niners. I originally had the Niners at 1 because week 1 they did look at the more impressive team. But I had the Eagles in front of them going into the week. And I don't think the Eagles did anything to deserve to lose that spot. So I just moved them both up 1 spot. I let the Eagles hold the number 1 spot for now. But man, are the Niners right on their heels for that. 1 and 2, like I said, they could go either way. But these are my top 8. Those are my power rankings. Like I said, let me know where I messed up. Let me know who you think should be higher, lower. Who do you think I got right? Yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of the power rankings. So, with that being done, we're going to take a look at this week's matchups. So, starting off, Vikings at Eagles. And actually, do I have this right? Was it in Philly? I'm going to check real quick. I might have this wrong. It was in Philly. Okay. I don't know why I thought it was in Minnesota. So yeah, or Vikings at Eagles. This game's already happened, so feel free to watch replays of the game if you haven't seen it. I will tell you, choose to believe me or not, I would have picked the Eagles to win that game. So again, you can choose whether or not you want to believe me. That's fine. It's not like this is for money or anything like that. I don't gain anything from looking smarter. But I would have picked the Eagles, and they did win, so I won't talk more about a game that's already happened. So, next up, the first of the Sunday games, we have the Packers at Falcons. 2 teams that picked up week 1 wins against division opponents. 2 teams I'm not sure of yet. 2 young teams. I feel like the Packers have more promise than the Falcons personally. But I think they're a lot alike right now where they're at. I'm kind of making these picks on the fly, too. I haven't really thought about a lot of these beforehand. This is a tough one. I liked what I saw of both of these teams week 1. I'm going to go with the home team here. I'm going to say the Falcons pick up a win. I don't think Jordan Love's going to have some struggles earlier in the year. He didn't have them week 1, so maybe he'll have them week 2. And I think the Packers are wanting more out of their offense. Like, obviously the Falcons want stuff out of their offense, but I think they're more content on relying on the run game. Bijan Robinson, they're a young rookie, and kind of playing time of possession game. I think the Packers, they want Jordan Love to be great, and I think they're going to rely on him a little bit more of the 2. And I don't think I fully trust either quarterback yet. So I'm going to go with the team that's going to rely on the quarterback a little bit less. And they're at home. This could go either way, for sure. But I am going to go with the Falcons here to win this game. And I didn't think the Falcons were going to be any good this year, but I think I'm picking them to start 2-0. I picked them last week against the Panthers, and I'm picking them again. So we'll see how that works out. I don't know if I trust that, but I am picking the Falcons to pick up the win here against the Packers. So, moving on to our next ball game. We got the Las Vegas Raiders at the Buffalo Bills. And I think, I'm going to say this is my upset of the week. I think the Bills are going to start 0-2. There's something wrong there. This is going to go one of 2 ways, in my opinion. Josh Allen is going to bounce back from that terrible performance, and the Bills are going to blow the doors off the Raiders. Or, option 2 that I'm going with is that Josh Allen and the Bills will continue to struggle. Something is actually wrong there that is not as easy to fix as they think it is. And the Raiders pick up this win. All Jimmy G does is win football games. So, yeah, this is my surprise of the week, my upset of the week. But we're going to say that the Las Vegas Raiders go into Buffalo and upset the Buffalo Bills. They have 1 extra day to rest, the Raiders do, and they're going to utilize it. So, yep, upset of the week right here. Raiders beat Bills in Buffalo. Going to be honest, 2 games so far, I'm not super confident in either of them, but I like this one. I think that's going to happen. Raiders over the Bills. Next game, we have an AFC North battle. between the Ravens and Bengals. One of these teams picked up a big win in week 1, and one of them had a big loss. My mom, who's big into fantasy football now, she's a big Joe Burrow guy. I told her Joe Burrow starts off slow, specifically week 1. I was at his week 1 game last year where he threw 4 interceptions to the Steelers. And I said I thought it'd happen again. He kind of struggles against the Browns, and he struggles earlier in the year. So I thought last week was a recipe for disaster for him, and kind of proved to be right. This week, I don't think it'll be as big a disaster. I think they pick up the win here against the Ravens, and they're both going to get to 1-1. I think Joe Burrow will have a much better performance this week, kind of what we expect from Joe Burrow. I still don't know what to expect from this new Ravens offense, this new passing, high-flying offense out of the Ravens. They got wide receivers now and all this I've been hearing. I didn't think it looked all that impressive week 1. Let's see how it looks week 2 against the Bengals. But I have more confidence in the Bengals than I do the Ravens. So we are going with the Bengals to win this game in Cincinnati. Next up, after these two, we have the Seahawks at the Lions. Sorry if you can hear the cat. Cat's wanting attention. But yeah, so Seahawks at Lions. Lions picked up the big opening win of the season against the Chiefs. Seahawks kind of blew one against the Rams. So not only do I think the Lions are the better team, I think they've had an extra 3 days to prepare for this, playing on Thursday of last week. I don't think this is going to be close. I think the Lions win this one easily. Seattle, outside of Seattle, is a little bit of a different team, and they didn't look all that good last week. Yeah, I think the Lions start 2-0, and I think they kind of do it in dominant fashion here. So we'll see. But yep, I'm going with the Lions here against the Seahawks. Next up, we got the Chargers at Titans. Two teams that picked up losses week 1. Both of them in close games. Two different styles of games. One of them looked far superior to the other with the Chargers and the Dolphins game compared to the Titans and Saints. But both are 0-1. I will say, I'm a Justin Herbert guy. That's what my mom always says to me, that I talk up Justin Herbert a bunch. I'm a believer in Justin Herbert. I like him a lot better than the Titans quarterback situation. And I do think the Chargers find a way to lose games, specifically late in the year. But we're not late in the year, and they already have a loss. So we're going with the Chargers to win this game against Titans. Again, this is one that's as simple as they're the better team. They have the better quarterback. I do think the Titans are well coached. I do think they have a decent team. They could win this game, but I'm going with the Chargers and Justin Herbert. Although I do think, I could be wrong, I thought I saw an update that Eckler might be out. If Austin Eckler's out, that's going to make this game a lot tougher for the Chargers. But with or without Eckler, I'm picking the Chargers in this game. So next up, we have the Bears at the Buccaneers. Ooh, this one's interesting. Let me think on this one for a second. The Bears got embarrassed at home against Green Bay. The Buccaneers picked up a big win against the Vikings. This one is interesting for sure. Let's think it through. Also, while I'm thinking, I'm just looking at the images here. I know in my week 1, the right side logos were cutting off in the video. I have no idea why that happened. If it happens again in this video, I'll try to fix it for week 3. But, I mean, in my OBS, like, I can see the whole logo. It's not cut off. So hopefully it doesn't again. Well, if it, like I said, if it does, I'll try to fix it for week 3. But it's just cutting off the edge of the logo. It's not like you're missing anything. But just wanted to address that while I was sitting here thinking. But I do think, again, when I'm borderline, I like to lean towards the home team. And I think I'm going to do that here. This could be a good game, but I'm going to go with the Buccaneers. If it is a close game at the end, Justin Fields has never really won these close games. Not that Baker's the most clutch guy in the world, but he has won a couple of these. So I'm going to go with the Buccaneers here to win this one, and they're going to improve to 2-0. Another team that I would be surprised I was saying that going into the year. But, yep, 2-0 Buccaneers is what I got. Oh, while I talk about that one, actually, too, me and my mom actually have a bet that Steelers and Bears, better record. If the Steelers have a better record this year, next year she has to wear a Kenny Pickett jersey every week. And if the Bears have a better record than the Steelers, I would have no problem wearing Justin Fields' jersey. So instead of Justin Fields, she's making me wear a Joe Burrow jersey. So next season when I do these, if the Bears had a better record than the Steelers, I will be wearing a Joe Burrow jersey every time I do one of these videos. So we need the Bears to lose as much as possible. Next up, we have the Chiefs and Jaguars. Both of these teams looked okay, in my opinion, week one. Outside of the receivers of the Chiefs, I didn't think they looked that bad. I thought Mahomes was fine. His stats look worse because the receivers can't catch. They do have Chris Jones back on defense. The Jaguars should have dominated that game against Indy, and they didn't. They did win. But a lot of people have them as like one of the elite teams in the league. I'm not there yet. They're a good team. I don't have them as great as everyone else does. I think I had them at number 10 in my power rankings, and that's pretty accurate to how I feel about them. I don't think they're in that top tier, but they're a good football team. But I don't think there's any way that the Chiefs start off 0-2. They're too good. Patrick Mahomes is too good. They will bounce back. Again, they're another team that has an extra few days to game plan for the Jaguars, and I think they will win this and improve to 1-1. I don't see them falling to 0-2 to start the year. So Kansas City Chiefs win this ball game. Moving on. The next game we have here is Colts and Texans. So another divisional game between two teams that I do not think are very good. I was slightly more impressed with the Colts week one. Anthony Richardson did do some things. This is a coin flip. This is a coin flip one. What did I say I do in close games that I can't decide that are coin flips? We give the edge to the home team. Do I want to follow my own rule? Yeah, we're going to say CJ Stroud and the Texans get it done. Again, I don't think either of these teams are very good. And honestly, might be the worst run teams of the last 3 to 4 years. Texans did a little bit better this offseason, but all the Deshaun Watson stuff before looked awful. The Colts, with what's going on with Jonathan Taylor, looked terrible. So neither of them are great franchises. Neither of them are great teams right now. But we are just going to go with the home team here. We're going to say CJ Stroud gets his first career win. One of these quarterbacks will get their first career win. But I do think it'll be CJ Stroud. They will improve to 1-1, and the Colts will fall to 0-2. So that's my prediction for this game. Moving on. Next up, we have the 49ers at the Rams. For my own psyche, I think I have to pick the 49ers here. How much they dominated the Steelers, I have to believe they're one of the best teams in football because of it. And the Rams did pick up a good win against Seattle. They might be better than others and myself expect them to be, but they're not anywhere near the Niners level. Like, the Niners are by far the better team here. And I'm going to... Nope. I'm going to pick them to win. Yeah. So the Niners go into L.A. The Rams don't have a ton of a home field advantage out there in L.A. San Francisco goes in there and they win this one. They're just the better football team. Like I said, there's a case to be made that they're the best team in the league right now. So I think they handle their business. Brock Purdy and company. George Kittle gets some more use than he did week one. Brandon Ayuk will not be as good as he was week one because he absolutely killed the Steelers. But he'll be fine. Christian McCaffrey will do his thing, and the Niners pick up the win here against the Rams. Let's see what we got next. Next up is the Giants at the Cardinals. Oh, this is a fun one. The team that I think is the worst team in football, the Cardinals, and the team that looked like the worst team in football week one, the Giants. This is interesting. As the cat is back and meowing, hopefully not too loud. Yep. All right. Had to pet the cat a little bit. So, yeah, I'm going to pick the Cardinals here. I think they're terrible. They're absolutely terrible. But they didn't look as terrible as I thought they would week one. And the Giants looked much worse than I thought they were, and I didn't think they were very good to begin with. Oh, now you can definitely see the cat. Yep. There's the cat. There's Wilma. Say hi, Wilma. Yeah. Who do you think's going to win? Giants? Cardinals? She didn't meow out either one, so I don't know what that means. Okay. Yeah, we're going to go with the Cardinals here. Pick up this win. The Giants, I basically played as good of offense as the Giants did week one. So they got a lot to work on. The Cardinals, who are already bad, I mean, they played closer to their potential than the Giants did. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Cardinals here. The Arizona Cardinals pick up the win. Giants fall to 0-2, and they're going to start hitting the panic button early in the year. Next up, we have the Jets and the Cowboys. So the Jets lose their quarterback for the season, which is unfortunate. Cowboys look absolutely dominant week one. Like I said, I'm sticking with the Jets to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. Not backing off that pick even without Rodgers. But they don't go into Dallas and win this game. The Cowboys look too good week one. And they will get a big head and fall back down to earth, the Cowboys will. But not in this game. I do think they handle their business and they beat the Jets. Not 40-0 like they did the Giants. This will be much more of a game than that. It's hard to be less of a game than that. But they'll win this one. So, yep, Cowboys handle business at home against the Jets. Next up here, we have the Commanders at the Broncos. Another interesting one. I mentioned how I like the Commanders' defense. They are banged up, though. I don't know what the status of Chase Young is. I think he's out for a few weeks, isn't he? I don't keep as up to date with my Commanders' knowledge as I should. But yeah, that defense is banged up. Broncos, the team that like to disappoint me as much as possible. And I'm going to give them the opportunity to do it yet again. I'm going to pick the Broncos to win this game against the Commanders. But again, never trust my Broncos pick. If you ever see any of my picks here and not trust it, I, for some reason, always have way too much faith in the Broncos. And I'm going to fall for it again. So, yep, Broncos handle business at home against the Commanders. Next up, we got an AFC East battle here between the Miami Dolphins and the New England Patriots. So the Dolphins looked like one of the best teams in football week one, especially that offense. That offense is dangerous with Tua and Tyreek and Waddle and their speedsters of running backs. Give Raheem Mostert the ball more, please. He's on my fantasy team. But yeah, Dolphins are scary. Patriots looked a lot better than I expected them to, specifically Mac Jones. Mac Jones had a very good week one against the Eagles. So it's giving me more thought. I would have guessed going into this one, I would have picked Dolphins, no problem, let's move on. But the Patriots are making this a lot tougher with how they looked. But I am going to stick with my pick of the Dolphins here. Like I said, Patriots made this one tougher for me. And I do hate the Patriots, so it's easy for me to pick against them. But they did give this more thought. But I think that Dolphins offense and Coach McDaniel is an offensive genius. And a little bit, they use the term genius a little bit too much, and I just used it too much. Like Andy Reid is an offensive genius. McDaniel is definitely more the mad scientist, as I like to call him. And I like guys like that try to think very much outside the box. Like at times he just said, we're going to throw it every single play. Things you don't usually want to do, you make work. So sometimes that can backfire on you real bad, though. But I do like coaches that try to break the norm. I like McDaniel and the Dolphins, so they will win this football game. Next up, we have... Oh, and that Dolphins-Patriots Sunday Night Football. Next up, we have the first of two Monday Night Football games between the Saints and the Panthers. So. Like I said, I'm going to say it every time the Saints pop up here. They're my pick to win the Super Bowl. And I think they're going to look very sharp in this game. They're going to go into Carolina, and they're going to look sharp. They're going to win this one. I do think Carolina... I think both these teams will look better than they did week one. But I don't think Carolina looked good. And I think New Orleans looked okay. So I think New Orleans' improvement will be more dramatic, and they'll look like a good football team. Carolina, I think, will look like a competent football team. So New Orleans will go into Carolina and win this football game, the first of the two Monday night games. The second of the two Monday night games is the Cleveland Browns at the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm going to put this on because, like I said, I will never pick against the Steelers. But then let me try to justify it. So I just actually, right before I hit record on this, saw an update on my phone that Amari Cooper got hurt at practice, and he's questionable for the game. So no Amari Cooper could be a big deal for the Browns. So, Steelers. I'm going to be honest. I don't have much to justify this after what I saw week one. They're going to have to... I'm usually a very optimistic fan. Usually like, oh, even at the end of the year, we're like 5-8 or something. It's like, oh, we're season. It's like, no, if we win 4 in a row and this and this and this happens, we could... Like, that's usually who I am. But I am so disheartened after that week one game that I can't even be like that for this one. The Browns should win this football game. The Browns are the better team right now. But I refuse to believe that the Steelers can lose back-to-back home games, especially after looking that bad week one. So, I mean, it's definitely my heart picking this and saying that the Steelers will win this game. But, and we don't know Deshaun Watson's back yet. We don't know he's actually good anymore. I mean, we know Kenny Pickett's not great right now. But please, Kenny Pickett, do something. I've talked you up a lot. I said that you were going to get an MVP vote this year. I need more from you. Minka, I need more from you. I got the Minka color rush on that I got in Pittsburgh. I got the new Steeler hat. I need more from everyone not named TJ Watt. I'll take more from Watt, but he did enough. He had 3 sacks. I don't know if they gave him 1 or 2 forced fumbles. The first one should have been a forced fumble. Brock Purdy got it back when he was on the ground, so we didn't get the football. But he should still get a forced fumble from it. So he should have had 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. So I can't really ask for more from Watt. But I can ask for more from everybody else. Pickett, Najee, Minka, Alex Highsmith. Unfortunately, we have no Deontay and Cam Hayward. They're both going to be out. Cam Hayward for like 8 weeks, I think. Deontay, I think, for a couple, like 2 to 3 weeks. So we're coming in a little banged up. But we're going to win this game. We're going to improve to 1-1. Yeah, and I'm going to say after this week, the entire AFC North is going to be 1-1. Bengals are going to beat the Ravens. We're going to beat the Browns. And we're all going to be on a level playing field at 1-1. So, that is my pick there. And yeah, I think that's all the games. We went through them all. Did my power rankings. Talked about the 2 games that I actually saw in depth last week. Which, again, that's not going to be how these videos work. Any games I see in depth, I will talk about next week. So, I play softball on Thursday nights. I usually don't get to see the Thursday night games, unfortunately. So, usually won't talk about those. Sunday night games, I will usually talk about if I get to see them. I also have softball on Sunday nights, so depends on scheduling. I will always talk about the Monday night games. I don't have anything going on Mondays. And I will always talk about the Steeler games. So, those are Monday night games and Steeler games are going to be the 2 games I always break down for sure. And then any other games I get to see, like one of the noon games tomorrow, I should definitely be able to break down. So those are going to be the games to talk about. I'll always update my power rankings, and then we'll take a look at my picks for the upcoming week. So if there's anything you want me to add in future episodes, please do let me know. Thank you for the suggestion on the name. We are calling these Gridiron updates. Thanks to, sorry if I butcher your name, Felipe Carrera. He had the suggestion last week. So if I butcher your name, I apologize, but thank you for the suggestion. So yeah, that's how these videos are going to work. Leave your picks down below in the comments if you'd like. Let me know anything that should have been adjusted in my power rankings, anything you disagree with. And yeah, let's enjoy some football here in week 2. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, please do like and subscribe to the video and the channel. I really would appreciate that. I'm trying to grow this channel, trying to put out more content. And yeah, all that being said, I hope to see you guys next week for week 3 video. And I hope you all have a good day and a good night. See you guys.